Stepped on the scene, dripped in saline. Whole crew shining, call me Mr. Clean. Came in from the back, walked right to the front. Dancing to the music, smoking on the. Got the women smiling, punk grilling me, looking all dusty. Black Force energy, I don't even drink, but the team pop bottles. Not here for the beef, but the Glock holds hollows. Think I'm cocky, but I think I'm worse. In this flexing like a Mr. Universe.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Derrick James in danger of losing his stable. Now, we recall Earl Spence one-sided beatdown from Terrence Bud Crawford, and Derrick James, trainer of the year, was training Earl Spence, and we just saw Jermell Charlo looking timid in his fight with Canelo Alvarez, and he also lost a one-sided beating. And here is a report from Michael Benson, which it says full interview from at Boxing King Media as Anthony Joshua's camp manager KD reveals AJ is training with Ben Davison.
Wow.
So,
yo, explain this, man. Yeah.
So AJ, well, I followed up on it, and it's basically AJ's been training with Ben Davison in the UK because Derrick James has been with Jermell, and they've been in camp preparing for the Canelo fight. But he plans to go back with Derrick James, but so that's what they're saying. But he is training with Ben Davison right now, nonetheless. So I'm going over to you, G. Is Derrick James in danger of losing his stable?
His stable? No. I mean, but he might lose AJ. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they're talking about Earl Spence might be looking for a new trainer. That's the rumor out there.
Earl seems like a loyal dude, man. I don't think Charlo or Earl is gonna be leaving Derrick James. But I will say this though, man. I've noticed a change in my man Derrick James. Like last night, I seen the gangster side come out of him, man. Remember, I was texting y'all like Derrick James clearly left his Buddha beads at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted blood, dog. He was so mad at Charlo. I thought he was gonna smack this dude for real. Like he was desperate for this victory. You know what I mean? And they fell short. But I don't think just because you had like 2 losses in a year, now everything that you've built, is now gonna just disappear. So he just has to. I don't know, and not to mention the Spence win, could be attributed to the car accidents and all of that. The Charlo one could be contributed to inactivity, layoffs, this, that, and the third. So it's like I don't think like people are gonna really hold that against Derrick James. Like he's still a sound coach. So I think if anything, he just needs to recruit more blood. Like, get some more guys on the stable. Ryan Garcia is still there, right?
Yeah, Ryan Garcia is with him.
Yeah, so Ryan's there. AJ, I guess, is part-time, and maybe he just needs to pick up like one more person, But again, it's hard for regardless of the status of the trainers trying to balance so many guys, it becomes difficult. Just like Canelo's trainer couldn't do it, So it is what it is. But I don't know. Maybe Derrick I think he needs to like make one more star, prove to the world like he still got it, And who knows? Ryan could be that kid, Like he's really untapped potential, So Derrick James still has opportunities and potential, and like. Who knows, man? Maybe I was about to say the Martin kid, but nah, Frank Martin. I don't know if he could pull that off. You know what I'm saying? But he still got some acts in his stable right now that could change the narrative.
All right, TBE.
All right, yo, I'm equivalent Derrick James to Sean Payton right now. He's not. He's on his ass is on the line. Like, excuse my language, but his ass is on the line. Like the Broncos brought in Sean Payton to carry the Broncos to success, and they're looking really bad right now. They're looking really bad. Last week they got whooped 70-20, and Derrick James, after all the success he's had, it's been looking really. It's not. He's lost to TC. He's lost to Canelo, and whoever he got next, it's like he probably got 1 or 2 more fights in him. If he loses them, I think he's gonna lose. The stable's gonna lose confidence in this guy, in this man. So Derrick James, my advice to you is just like watch more tape, do more, train your fighters, train your fighters to go the distance. If not, like all they heard was Canelo. I swear, all they heard was Canelo was payday. We getting paid. But no, y'all gotta really like take boxing seriously. If you don't take boxing seriously, y'all gonna lose when it's the big game. And he hasn't delivered. He hasn't delivered in big games. He lost against TC. He lost against Canelo. And at one point, he was about to be trainer of the year. Now he's like, trainer, get rid of. So Derrick James, if you want to train your boxers, train them to really get in this ring. Make sure they technically sound and they don't get their emotions involved. Because at the end of the day, it's a sport. And soon as you get emotional, fighters get emotional, I'm losing, I gotta do this. And Charlo didn't show that last night. He didn't even show he had any emotion in this fight. He just showed yeah, I need that. Where my check? That's all. They look like a fighter. Where my check? He fucking up, get beat up on. That's up. But Derrick James, train your fighters to be great. If you want to be a great trainer, you gotta go to great distance. But you're not doing that, and I'm not seeing that because Spence, that was a letdown. I really had my heart invested, and now it's I'm out of it. I could see the flaws in your game. And AJ, thank you for going fight. I'm training with that homie in London, because this dude was about to set you up for failure.
Wow.
$12 bill, it's you.
Is he in danger of losing his stable? Nah, I just think they need to tighten some stuff up and straighten some stuff up. I think the guys that he got are loyal. You know what I'm saying? They had success. Man, everything don't last. You know what I'm saying? Long. It's loyalty is crazy. They rocking with you when it's good, and then when it's bad, you know what I'm saying? People want to dip off. And losing his stable, I don't think he'll lose it. I think he got some loyal cats that they think they're going through some bad times right now. They got to take their losses like they took their wins. When they was taking their wins, Derrick James was the man. He was the best trainer ever. Had the best. They were saying he was the best trainer ever, giving him trainer of the year, saying that his KO ratio on his fighters is amazing. And now you know what I'm saying, turned Jamel Charlo into a knockout puncher and all this stuff. Now things get bad. He got a couple losses. Now they're gonna say he's not a good trainer now. Nah, I think things happen, man. It was a time where Freddie Roach was the man. It happens with trainers. Freddie Roach was the man. Freddie was Freddie. He had all these people. Then his fighters started losing. And they say, oh, Freddie's done. Then he had the same thing with Garcia. And, he had all the fighters, and he was doing it good because Mikey was doing his thing. Mikey lose. Oh, then Garcia ain't good no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just think they're going through a tough patch right now. And they'll get right. To me, that Earl situation, they got, man, listen, that didn't look like Earl. Y'all trying to tell me that Gamboa punches harder than Earl Spence? You trying to tell me that Jeff Horn, you know what I'm saying, and all these other, nah, there was something there. And then with the Charlo thing, he was daring to be great, man. He was daring to be great. He came up short. So what? Could hit the drawing board and come right back, man. Everybody quick to cancel somebody over a couple of L's. Where the loyalty? I don't know. That's just me. I'm weird, though.
Nah, I agree with you, Trill, because it kind of reminds me of that John Wick Part 4 when his man's was like a true test of friendship isn't when everything is good. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. It's like it isn't when everything is good, but during the times of adversity. And I was like, man, that's kind of deep, dog. That really is friendship. It's like anybody could be cool and loyal when there's no problems. But what happens when there's problems? Are you going to stand by me toe to toe and fight off the wolves? If the answer is no, then it's like we ain't really friends. So I can see Spence and Charlo staying loyal. AJ, I don't know, man. And no disrespect, I know I shouldn't be saying this, but AJ don't seem too loyal to me anyways. You know what I mean? So AJ don't owe no loyalty, really. AJ is just a walking paycheck for any trainer. So it is what it is, man. But I think these other guys, they're gonna stick and they're gonna ride out for Derrick James.
Yeah. I think so. The same way. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's interesting and it's tough because sometimes fighters part ways with their trainer after a loss. People start getting in your ear. You know, losing a fight to a fighter is a very sensitive time. It creates doubt, questions, and a lot of fighters say that after they take a L, it exposed people who are just around them, the hangers on, who are trying to get things from them. So you never know what's gonna come to the light in that situation. But in Derrick James' case, I think particularly with Earl Spence may have been outclassed by Terrence Crawford, but prior to that, he won all his big fights with Derrick James by his side. Jamel left Rodney Shields, I believe, and he got with Derrick James, and he became a knockout puncher, and he had some of his greatest wins under the tutelage of Derrick James, and you can't just throw that out the window. So I'm about to go a roundabout way to make a point, which means that I'm going to take it somewhere else to tie it back in. So when I was younger, dogs hated me. They would bite me. They would bark at me. It didn't matter. Every dog freaking hated me. It was just crazy. I got bit by a dog twice, two different dogs. And one time I was just trying to pet the dog, a family dog, and the dog just bit me. So dogs hated me, and I really didn't care much for them, right? But then I got a dog, and I became friendly with the dog, and the dog loved me. And then ever since then, when I walked by dogs, they loved me. Like they stopped barking at me. It was crazy. And so I said to someone, I said, yeah, once I got this dog, you know, the dogs the dogs started to like me. Like the dogs changed. And they said, no, the dogs didn't change, you changed. And I thought about that. Maybe it was me. Maybe they could sense I didn't like them. Maybe it was something about me that made the dogs get at me. But once I had a dog and once I changed how I was around the dogs, that's when they started to accept me. So why I bring that up is maybe people lose big fights, maybe fighters lose big fights not because of the trainer, but because of who they are, because how they act in the big moment, because of how they act around the fighters, right? So you got Jamel Charlo, for example, who was always extremely confident, who always talked trash, who always had an edge going into fights, and then soon as Canelo's in front of him, he's a different guy. Soon as the fight with Canelo happened, he didn't want to take the risk that he normally took. So was he the same Mel? Like that's really what you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself. Or did you change for that fight? Earl Spence, a lot of things Earl did in his life probably came to get him in that fight with TC. A lot of things reared its ugly head. Was it Derrick James or was it you? Did Derrick James fail or did you fail? Was it you who changed? And that's the hardest thing for a fighter to do is to look in the mirror and say that I didn't give it my all. I didn't give it my best. I wasn't good enough. It always has to be the trainer's fault or this person's fault or someone else's fault. And that's another reason why you got to salute Canelo. He's still with Eddie Reynoso. But he said, I didn't give it my best the last few fights. And so I need to change that. And that's real. Because if you can't look at yourself and have those difficult conversations and realize that maybe you need to be the one that changed, maybe you could be in for it. So again, the vibes, the feeling, the unspoken language and that the vibes we give off, all that matters And when all is said and done, to me, Jamel just never seemed confident in his ability to win this fight. And that's just me keeping the $150. And I don't think you can blame Derrick James for that. Is he in danger of losing his stable, however? Yes. And the reason why I say yes is because you and I know boxing is a copycat sport. And I think the downfall of all the great trainers that Trill mentioned, Freddie Roach, Robert Garcia, all the trainers who were hot at one particular point in time, was a bunch of people came flocking to them. Like, fix me. Virgil Hunter is another one I think of. Come fix me, fix me, fix me. Right? And then once they couldn't work miraculous miracles with these people, then they started getting the blame, and people started to say they weren't as great as they were predicted to be. My advice to Derrick James would be, who cares about being trainer of the year? Just be the best trainer you can be. And make sure you do what's best for the fighters. If you do that, you don't need an award. You know, they'll probably give it to Bo Mac 10 this year, right? And if they do, he would deserve it. But he's been a good trainer well before they acknowledged him. And that's the reality. If you created an Earl Spence, if you created a Terrence Crawford, then that's all the award you need. And so he is a good trainer. He's already proven it. And if people going to ride out with him, they're going to ride out with him. If not, they're not. But he already solidified himself. So, you know, is he in danger of losing the stable? Maybe. But at this particular point in time, I'm not going to jump on the Derrick James isn't a good trainer bandwagon. But I will say this. He's had a tough year, and he probably won't win trainer of the year this year. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know you rocking with. You're rocking with the Mighty Boxing Bros.
I feel it in my soul. Can you feel me? Became so cold in my cell, all them loony. Stay 10 toes.